if it works. I had something for you guys. Now, I am okay with you guys like rewriting, like adding to the stuff with citations because we're all learning citations right now. Um, on Schoology, there's one. So with the papers, so far so good. I know it's a learn APA style. So let's see if I can send this to her on YouTube Live. The most important is going to be like adding, like if you take a big quote out, and I'm probably more lenient than most folks, but learning how to, if, say, for example, you get something from a website, that's fine. You just got to give credit to that source, or else, like a lot of teachers here freak out and will try to kick you out of school. I think it's better to do like a learning experience, like learning how to write, for example, learning how to, I don't know if I have any of my old papers. So if you do a small quote, like if it's word for word, you put quotes around it. I have a few articles up. So say, for example, you do, let's give you guys a better example. On your papers, I don't know why it always wants to play. Like say, I still do like scholar.google.com, scholar.google. And direct quotes are fine. The more you write, the more you'll hear people be like, all right, now do something, use your own words. You know what I mean? Which is kind of, it's hard. It's a little bit harder, like getting creative as you're writing about something. And so like the trick is kind of alternating between like, I found something on Section 8 housing. I found something on food stamps. Here's the details. Now, I think it's important to have these subsidies as a community because we don't want people to starve to death. So throwing in your opinion, then go back to like a citation again. Oh, that's weird. I guess I'm signed in as someone else right now. Huh. Don't want to do that. I don't know if that's from like one of the presentations. So let's see if it'll let me sign in. And if not, we're going to do, gosh, okay. So let's go to, say you pull an article, and I'll do, because I know these are big topics that we're covering. And so here's one, like if I were to cite myself, this is how bad it has become. They actually will like bust you. If I write an article, and this is an article I wrote 2 years ago, and I pull something from that article, I still have to cite myself. Sounds stupid as hell, but really it's because like the magazine owns my publication now. Like, they own me. So if I pull it up, I had a couple of them. I had one in 2017 and one in 2019. And if you're pulling related articles, something like that, you can look at the full text, and maybe it'll be like Lighthouse is a school in the city of Cincinnati for behaviorally challenged youth, blah, blah, blah. And then when you quote within the paper, you basically just write Trouth 2019. So like inside of the, like you pull a quote word for word, or if you pull it off the websites are a little different to quote. These types of things are easier. And then at the end of the paper, you're going to want to have this. So it's going to say references and then that. So, and I probably have that actually at the end of my paper here. So I can show you. It also sucks because those papers never counted towards our page count in any level of grad school, undergrad, or the doctoral level. So you have your title page. It says your name. It says Central State University. It says the date. And again, I'm okay if you guys like need to fix something on your paper and put it back in. As I'm looking at them, but I have 97 papers to look at throughout the week. So your title page is literally a blank page, and it just has you. Probably the same way this has, just like this. It's almost like this, but you guys would have like Central State University, March 1st, 20, whatever the date is now. I can't remember anymore. Then it's double spaced. So in Word, it'll look like a double spaced paper. And then at the end, you'll have your references. And this is why I have to cite myself. See how they copyright it? Like if I pulled it and like just, it is easy to do a paper like boom, and I copy it and paste it in. Problem being, it's like stealing their material. It's like intellectual property. So if I do that, it's still okay. I just put the quotes around it. If it's lesson 4 and I write 12th, 2019. And then at the end of the paper, I'll have this. So these are all the people I had to cite to write my paper. Because I think we had a lot of like full text quotes, and luckily you guys can do this. I'm so jealous because if I was in school nowadays and we had this and I could just copy it at the end and then alphabetize them, like copy, paste in the word, copy, paste. We used to have to type that crap out by hand. It drove me insane. And I had people, as I was learning, they tried to kick me out of school because I didn't do it right. So it's a good learning experience. Like they get more and more now with digital and electronics. They can like search your paper quickly, tell right away where it's from, and be like, dude, you got to give credit to the author who wrote this first off. And that's kind of how it comes up. So say you want to cite another one. Actually, this is somebody who cited me. And again, yeah, I think she's from like Russia or something. So depend on the articles that you have. And if you need to make these fixins, that's okay. But you'll have like your name, the title, and all that. If you cite somebody in the middle, I'll try to show like, hell, she might not have written it in APA. This is a good example though. If you do like a super big paste from a web page, sometimes it's like, dude, I found the best web page that explains food stamps, Section 8 housing, or the coronavirus bill, and I'm just going to be like, boom, boom, paper done. Problem being, in academia, that would have me lose my career. They'd be like, dude, you stole that. And it's like, what are you talking about? All I did was copy and paste. It's like, no, you didn't. So you got to cite it properly. And so here, that's your little citation up. Like Ralph and Dom seems to serve best. And then if it's more than 4 lines, have you guys ever heard that? You put it in the box quote like this. It's like single spaced, truncated. So you still can copy and paste big lines of text. Just write who it's from. In APA, you might write at the bottom like Trouth 2019. This lady did not write in APA style. So maybe I'll pull you one that's off of the APA style. But does that make sense? Is the whole like citation thing making sense to you guys? Because it really looks impossible. When I was first doing school, I'm not going to lie, I was like, I'm going to freaking drop out of school if I have to write every single damn paper this way. Because it's like annoying. It's like there's no way. It's slightly time consuming. Luckily now, you can copy and paste it and have some of your opinion, cite the source. And I still hate writing, but if we want to keep our jobs, we have to like publish in our area. And that's, So here's APA, like here, I paraphrase. Like I didn't do a direct quote. I wrote, in addition to building self-esteem, it gives clients a sense of control in their lives and provides them an opportunity to grow food for their families and community. And then that was an article actually from this journal. So I just had to put their name and the year. I actually used a lot of citations. So you can use like way too many citations and not give your, details or thoughts and opinions. And it takes a while to learn how to write that way. I still don't like doing it. I'm not going to lie. It is hard work. I had to cite myself. There's a stupid piece where you cite yourself at the end. But then you'll have references, and those all, luckily we can do that from APA style. And anyway, that's the only trend I'm noticing because I started looking at papers yesterday. I know a lot of you turned them in Sunday, yesterday, and today. Just let me know if you need to like add some stuff or like fix it up. Um, and we'll use it as a learning experience. Yeah.
I came in a little late, but where you say we have to do that, put the reference after the quote every time we quote something? Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, even if you paraphrase, sometimes you'll like try to rewrite it, and they even have programs now that pick up that you're rewriting it. They'll say like 80% of this quote is from here.
Because I put the references at the bottom, but I didn't know we had to mention the reference.
Right. And that's okay. I'm not going to pull a freak out on you guys. There are some teachers that be like, dude, you're going to go to whatever they call it. I don't even know what they call it nowadays, but like they would call it academic dishonesty. They'd be like, you're going in front of the dean and you're in trouble. I don't roll that way. Like we should learn how to write first before you start freaking out about it. But I want to make sure you guys know everything to do and then do it properly, so to speak. You know what I mean? Because it is hard. It freaking sucks. And then in social work specifically, like this, I found out is a career that is like all papers. When I was a psychology major, it was all tests and quizzes and whatever. We didn't have to cite much. You know what I mean? Like any psych majors in here? I can't remember. But other majors, do you write as many papers? I feel like in social work, we write way more papers than anybody else. And it's
Education.
do they? And I was going to say, it prepares you for your field. So in education, you have to learn how to write because you're teaching people how to write. In social work, we have to learn how to write because we're always writing up like case notes about people. Every day I'm writing up something. And if we don't know how to write, we could suck as a social worker and they might be like, dude, I'm going to hire somebody else.
Well, in STEM, we have to write too. Like, I'm a chemistry major.
Uh-huh.
We still have mandatory writing papers.
Really?
Writing classes. After, writing the research.
Right.
Before that, I had to take writing 1101. So.
Yes. So if you want to save some time, I'm going through them all, but if you know that you didn't have citations, you can go back in, you can pull it, you can add your citations, and resubmit it, and that's okay. Just let me know. I'd rather that than like having some type of freak out. I almost want to show you guys the program we had. If I still can log in here, you can see how crazy these programs are. They might even have them still like online. You just type in plagiarism detector. I bet a lot of them will try to sell it to you. Like they'll be like, "Hey, can you?" Well, here you go. This one says you can check your paper for free, and you upload it, and it'll like search every source on the web. And well, there you go. Huh. So that one's on Turnitin. I don't know like how specific that would be, but I want to just like paste in something because I want to see if it actually works, and it may catch some of these. Gosh, I'm so used to a Macintosh, I have a hard time with these, but I think you just do copy and then you paste it. Here it is. And then usually, I feel like they're going to try to sell me something, but I'm gonna go ahead and check my paper. And you can check your own. That's actually kind of like a fun way to do it. So you can be like, instead of having like some freak out from if you're writing a bunch of papers in chemistry, and sometimes they'll show you the sources where it's from and like where to submit it, but it like pools. It's crazy the stuff they can do, and they'll be like, dude, like that's use your own words and then give credit where credit's due. So like an author that wrote this before. Oh dear God, yeah, I knew they'd try to charge me. Okay, I want to go back. So yeah, there's something on there that would be. Oh, is this an app? That's weird. Oh, help me. Help me, God. So yeah, that's the. We had like a free one at UC that we could always check, like when we were teaching there. I don't know if we have it here, but I'd use it. So anyway, any questions about like citing it and stuff? Anything you pull from the web? A good website to teach you how to cite it is called like Purdue OWL, APA, and they'll tell you how to cite everything. It's an online writing lab. They give you like a sample paper of what it should look like in APA. Oh yeah, that is kind of cool. So this one, if you do want, like, if you don't know how to cite it, you can just type in the website you got it from and hit cite. Or, if you have the journal article, I don't know about. So, oh, there we go. Let's try this one. That's my little brother's website, and he teaches at UC. It's going to sell me formula. And then, yeah, if it's one of these websites, you click on it and hit cite, and it will cite it for you. That's a podcast. So you can cite a podcast, you can cite it, and Purdue OWL will tell you, luckily, they'll tell you how to cite it all. It does seem like timely, but it'll save you a lot of hassle in the long run, like learning how to use it. Do you guys have anything else that you cite from? Like, we use APA all the time, and that's it. Do you guys use anything else in any of your other classes? Is that in chemistry? Okay. Usually criminal justice, social work, sociology, even English, I think, uses APA or education. So, and that's because they paid the most money to the school. Like, they paid the big bucks to be like, we want to use our citation and blah, blah, blah. So this is kind of cool though. So if you want to do a website, this will tell you how to copy citation. Oh dear Lord. So anyway, that's an idea. Or if you want to type it up, and it always is references. I know that it used to be works cited, and MLA I think they use in all of high schools, and then APA we use here. I guess I'll log into this UC website later because I don't really know how to /Blackboard. So anyway, if you guys wanted to add anything into that, I'm okay with it. You ever have 85 windows open and try to figure out which one? There it is. In the old days, your computer would crash when you had that many windows open. It would like shut down and blow up. But luckily nowadays, we can keep it open. Any other questions about like the upcoming assignments or anything of that nature? Shoot, I hate when it does that. Anybody signed up to present sometime this month? I can't remember. Is anybody going for March? I know most of you did April, which is fine. What's that? Okay, cool. So we'll have that. Oh, I'm in human behavior in the social environment. Dear Lord, help me. Social welfare. So yeah, are you doing on your first paper or your second paper?
I don't know, honestly.
Okay, that's fine. It doesn't matter. It's just like, yeah, first week, second, third, fourth. We don't get a spring break. That's still pissing me off. Anybody know when Easter is this year? In April or Easter? What month is Easter? Is it
April.
Mid-April or like?
Beginning of mid-April, so like I think it's like the 13th.
Okay. So if we do want to go home for it, we got to take off Friday and come back like Monday or something. Okay. So yeah, there's a few discussions this month. And this is the next one that we have. And it's in relation to policy about money and like handouts and whatnot. But some people could say this: I have 2 jobs and I'm still broke. Or like, I got a job, why am I still broke? This is in the UK, but it's all over. Hopefully YouTube doesn't shut me down for it. Those of you that are live on YouTube, the link for this video is online in Schoology.
What that saying, much of it not existing destroyed, which is brilliant because it's quite then my home was made so old and such once. With a laugh. Number expensive weather. And it's about 40.
Is that loud enough? Because you got that dude talking behind you.
If you're working,
That good?
finds it a little bit difficult to stay afloat. They want to hear from you.
He's a nurse.
Series on the real story behind working briefly.
You're at work and fighting to stay afloat.
Last year, local radio stations up and down the country played adverts, asking people to phone in if they were struggling to make ends meet, despite having a job.
I normally get 50 deals and
Hi, buddy. No problem. Good luck.
Calls came in from all over the UK.
Working up to 50 hours.
frequently finish on payday, month after month, absolutely very little debt.
Anybody in here ever been over to there? 'Cause I didn't know they had Uber over there too. That's insane.
I can't afford to keep living like this.
Many asked not to be identified,
Please don't do it now.
but some wanted to share their stories.
We've got nothing in the bank. We haven't even got a pension.
We're doomed. We followed 9 families for a year as their financial futures hung in the balance.
I must have been doing about 120 hours a week.
I don't want her to work as hard as I do.
Hell no.
Being broke is not the same as being broken. So what does just about managing really mean for millions of us from all walks of life and all over Britain?
I've just got to keep down. Keep buttering on. That's what Churchill said.
So you notice he had a Mercedes there? It's actually not as much a luxury car in Europe because they're made in Germany. Because for a second it's like, dude must be rich. He got a Mercedes Benz.
Do you know when you're working with World next?
No,
When? They told you a date. So you don't know. So at the moment, all you've got is what you've got. For the next week, 2 weeks ago.
1 2 weeks, it'll be next probably 4 days.
Oh my God, help me. Quick advertisement. Or 2.
What you watching? Come on, guys, you know what has the best free trial ever with Final Fit?
Every time you've got money, you have to spend it. We can't afford it. Just look at the basic time. Oh, because you're rich all of a sudden, yeah. Over one day. Yeah. I'm not looking at the bigger picture, mate. There we go, flex and pets. It's just what happens to do 1 day a week and let daddy carry his load. That's why I stress it and we fall out all the time because he's not pulling his weight and I get fed up with it.
When he's having a good day, my dad generally has a good day and he's fun to be around, but most of the time when he's having a bad day or he's stressing, it's not so fun to be around, but it's have to, but because I'm so used to it now, so I just, I like that.
The minute you opened your eyes this morning, you was in the front. Yes, it was.
Even though Billy and his dad work when they can, they've been homeless since Steve lost his full-time job 5 months ago.
It upsets me from where he used to be to what he is now. And he hasn't really done anything to deserve what's happened, if you know what I mean. He got shit on, which isn't nice.
Staying for hours, I love this sort of stuff. It's a dream shop. You dream about having it all, but you can't have it all.
Hopefully, I think we get a flat soon.
They've been living in a couple of flimsy tents and recently moved into the woods at the back of a friend's house. But winter's coming and they need at least £1,500 to pay the deposit and rent on a flat.
It's my tent over it.
Anybody know how much 1,500 pounds is? It always changes. So the currency over there is pounds. They got euros. And I think it is $2 to buy 1 pound. I don't know why they call it a pound. Euros are about $1.50 to buy 1 euro. So if they need 1,500, they need $3,000 to put a deposit on apartment.
Maria, Billy's tent's there on the left. This is where we keep our little supplies and our plates and that. Can't keep milk out, it goes off too quick, so you're wasting money. That UHT milk is disgusting, there's no way I'm drinking that, I'd rather have no milk. When you've had 5 months of it, it's not camping anymore, it's surviving. It's surviving. This is a lovely fishing bed. This is my bit of luxury. Don't ask me why, but I've got an old Xbox 360. Probably just in the hope that I'll get a telly. It's nice waking up, listening to the birds in that morning, which is all right, but yeah, you see, it does get a bit annoying sometimes. But what can you do? Never imagined I'd be living in a tent. No. But it's better than being outside. I'm 50 years old. I'm 50 years old and living in a tent. Oh, well.
So we call it the working poor in America. You'll find folks that still have a job and are homeless. He's only 50, so it looks, you still have 20 years left to live after that.
I'd rather be in a house with no without doubt, you know.
After he lost his job, Steve took whatever work he could find, like the occasional shift in the pub down the road. Now he's signed up to a 0 hours contract with an agency, and for the last 2 weeks he's been putting in 10 hours a day on Hotjar. Like nearly 1 million people on 0 hours, he doesn't know how much work he'll get each day, or whether there'll be anything at all next week.
I don't enjoy this job whatsoever. I absolutely hate it. That's the truth. I hate it. I hate doing that. But it's a job. If you don't take this job, someone else will do it. There'll probably a chance you miss it. You've got to take any job you can get, anything. Doesn't matter what it is, shit shoveling, being anything. You just got to take the job.
Billy works part-time for a tree surgeon, but can't afford a place of his own, and has always lived with his dad.
The pay's not bad, but the work's so sporadic up to survive on about £500 a month. We haven't always lived in the back of someone's garden. Me and my dad lived on the beach for 5 months, which was, interesting. During the summer months, it was lovely, it was like we were on holiday, and then the rain come in, the wind come in, our tents were flooded. Yeah, we sort of had to get out and look for somewhere else.
The council offered Steve emergency accommodation 50 miles away in a hostel, but he turned it down. Because he's lived in Hastings all his life, he'd rather stay close to his friends and family.
Hopefully now, onwards and upwards, you know what I mean? So we've upgraded from the beach to a garden. Next thing, it's a house or flat for days. But yeah.
This Tuesday, there's a £121 million jackpot.
Britain is one of the richest countries in the world, yet millions of people still struggle to pay the bills.
Hello, just responding to the radio advert. I'm a 48-year-old truck driver. My partner works full-time for the NHS. I work up to 60 to 65 hours a week. and we are only just making ends meet. 85–90% of my earnings every week going to try and clear our overdraft on. I'm getting paid on Friday, and I currently have £17 in my bank account. So, you know, we're only about sort of 2 paychecks away from being homeless. So, it's basically it. It's just the cost of living going up, but the wages are either going down or.
File with the help of an expert, or let an expert file.
So yeah, in America, we do call this the working poor, and we have a lot of folks that even though we have 1, 1.5, or 2 jobs, there's a struggle.
Remain standing.
That's calm down. Jesus. So your mother always walks a bloody thing. I don't think you can describe the tunnel without actually saying steel works. It's like a blood in it. That's the blast on it. Blast furnace. Well, then that's exploded.
Exploded.
Yep. Years ago now. I was in there. See molten steel flying in the air. You want something better for your children. You don't want them to follow in your footsteps. I didn't really go chasing dreams or anything. I didn't. I just done whatever I needed to do just to earn money. My cousins work here. My father, my uncles, my auntie. Just look at it. Beautiful, isn't it? Steelworks with the mountains in the background. It's the last big industry of Britain. Not anything left now, is there?
Ross works 4 days on and 4 days off at one of Britain's 2 remaining steelworks. He works 12 hours a day and earns £375 a week after tax.
So this is my control room, or my bubble as I like to call it. This is my own home. This is the brains of the plant. The plant stops. This screen will show me then which area is actually broken, and then I will head out there and fix it. I spent about 20 years in this bloody bubble. God. But I've actually done something. Not just working still. I like it. I enjoy my job. It's not something I want to do. Maybe go to school and think, dude, I don't know what I want to do. I want to shovel shit for a living.
Ross's pay is not kept up with inflation and the cost of living. So effectively, he's bringing home less than when he started 20 years ago. But now he's got 3 kids, a mortgage, and £8,000 of credit card debt.
Chill night on a Friday night. Just my chill out night.
Isn't that ridiculous?
So the credit cards are the worst because you can get an introductory balance of 0% interest on a lot of cards. Like Discover will give you 12 months interest free, and you can stack it up. They said £8,000. Problem being, I'm guessing he may have a 10% interest rate. Like the average credit card interest rate is like 10 or 15%, so it adds up fast.
Must have been on the floor since yesterday. Didn't I say somebody very tidy up in here? And you were all sat and you're absolutely knackered. Why am I going to pick up your debris every 2 minutes? Because you were 16 this year and you just turned 14.
Oh boy.
Is this fair? I'm having a laugh. Tidy your shit up.
They fell into debt because Vicky stayed home to look after the kids. And for nearly 14 years, Ross was the only breadwinner. But now Vicky is back in full-time work.
You go shout down there? I paid them last time.
Don't do it, because someone will die tonight. I'm telling you now.
What is this song you're singing today? Shiva. Mommy is with you, isn't she? She's always full of joy when she finishes work, have you noticed that?
Though Ross and Vicky both have full-time jobs, once the bills, debts and mortgage have been paid, there's usually less than £300 a month left to live off.
I used to keep in there. We used to have loads and loads. And now it's died down. It's a sign of times, isn't it? Sad. It is.
So, just wanted to get that one started because this is the next discussion. Some of you may know folks that even though working, you still have just so many bills. So the average rent nowadays, and I sometimes ask you guys this, from where you came from, do you what is the average rent of like places to live? 700. Because when I was your age in college, I feel like what normal was 300 a month, and so that's already doubled. You know, it's been 20 years, but it's doubled. Chicago's even a little bit more. New York is probably the most, but a lot of people are moving out of there. Let me I've actually been looking for this one for a long time. We watched it like a year ago. But let's dig into our last part about the PowerPoint. Some of the social policies we have are geared to, end this type of stuff. But it's interesting, like lately, they apparently passed the coronavirus relief bill. Did any of you write your paper on that and get an update about that? I feel like they passed it Saturday night. So we're all supposed to get a check by next month, but it also could be vetoed, which is, a little bit challenging. It's something that definitely challenges all of us. It is tax return season, which is kind of nice. So any of you guys get tax returns from working? What's the average one? Like, is it like 10% of what have you paid, or like a few hundred, or you ever get 1,000? Like, what's the most nowadays tax returns wise?
So if you, I know right now a lot of people are getting, a lot of people can get stimulus checks, file taxes. So right now, everybody's getting like a couple grand.
Okay. Oh, so if you didn't get a stimulus check, to add that on to the tax return?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Okay. That's kind of nice. Interesting. And that's to everybody. Did you have to had worked last year to get those and filed taxes? Oh, you get them no matter what?
You just file taxes.
Boy, your parents get it, or do you guys get it?
Well, I filed taxes this year. This is my first time filing taxes. So I got it. They gave it.
Okay, that's cool. Find some, I keep saying right now is we're supposed to have a lot of food inflation again. So like whatever your favorite food is, if you could find it in bulk at like Sam's, Costco, or even like Walmart, and if it lasts a while, stock up. I know that sounds weird, but it's a way of saving money. It's another way of saving. Or if there's a product you buy and you notice inflation on it, that's how a lot of our programs are financed with, like it mentioned here, like employer taxes. You can also file that they take out more taxes, or you can file so that they take out less taxes if you guys are working. So And it depends on how you are with money. If you like getting a big tax return, you want them to take out more and then you get it back. I actually don't like loaning the government too much of my money, so I try to make it like that I get closer to less back. So I try to file for, how do you do that? I file saying that I'm single still, even though I have a wife and 2 kids. I file say that I'm single, and then I pay less. I may be messing this up, but basically, like, depending on how you are with money, you can ask them if you want to like give more and to pay more into the taxes, then you get it back in March. If you don't want to loan the government money, you pay less into the taxes, so you get like $100 back in March. It's like up to you. So there are a few theories here, and I know some of the policies that you guys wrote about. What were the policies you guys picked again? I should ask that.
I did the healthcare system.
Okay.
I think I did the temporary assistance for
TANF, yeah, that's kind of like welfare essentially. Is it okay? Yep. Which that one, when we were looking at it, it used to be a benefit you would get for a certain amount of time. Now I feel like they have you do 2 years and you go back to work. Like, it constantly changes. So that's why it's tricky to keep up to date on it. What was your policy? Okay, TANF. What'd you do? Which one? Oh, the COVID one. Yeah. Yep. And then this year or last year? The one from. Okay, cool. And then I feel like I remember. That's right. So that's another one. That's like where they take it out of our check. The one crappy thing about workman's comp, well, yeah, your employer kind of pays into it. And then if you get hurt at work, like I got hurt doing social work 10 years ago, and they pay for your doctor. Like, I think I got a sprained ankle because it was like a day camp. They pay for your treatment. And then the institutional view sees social welfare as a legitimate function of modern society. They have some in the video we were just watching. We'll finish up next week. They have some of that in Britain. They have some, every country is different with how they do it. And again, the idea is to set up to prevent or correct problems. The food system. So I don't know if they still do this, but last year we had a food truck come every first Monday of the month and hand out food to any student that wanted fresh vegetables, meats, or any food that you guys, wanted. It was from Free Store Food Bank in Dayton. You just basically had to come, sign your name, get a box, and take stuff home. I don't know if they do that anymore with COVID. They might not have as many leftovers because of COVID. So there could be a struggle with that. Idea being, again, it makes living better. It could improve the quality of life and then fulfills human development. Some of the issues we get when we have malnourishment is that you get sicker quicker. You get sick more often. If we eat more vegetables and hydrate enough, drink enough water, you may have a better immune system. You might not get sick as much. So that was the idea with the food bank. We even let any locals come. So it was like the food bank handout once a month here. If they still do it, it's the first Monday of the month by like the main office building. I'm blanking where that is. Is that way? Over to like registrar, or is it that way? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so they had a big truck set up, like across the street from that gas station, essentially. And it's the first Monday of the month at like 1. I don't know if they still do that or not. They're talking about having a farmer's market here to provide access to fresh vegetables. So socioeconomic asset development suggests social welfare should manage social problems and meet the needs, provide opportunities for advancement to individuals, family groups, communities, and even whole societies. which again, that coronavirus relief check is kind of going to whole societies and also to all of us as individuals. It could be selective or universal. So in selective programs, eligibility is based on determination of need and the individual financial mean of the potential client. And then in universal programs, they're open to anyone. So you could be a certain class, a certain category, or regional criteria. Like if we had a tornado here again and got wiped out, they would probably bring services to meet our quick needs with, especially food and water, sometimes blankets if the heat went out or the power's been out for a while. Or it could be a certain class. If you make under $20,000 a year, you have access to those. That's a family. The family of four is 24,000. I think as an individual, if you make under 10 or 11,000 a year, then you can qualify for food stamps and whatnot if your parents aren't claiming you as a dependent. So with cost and efficiency, that's uneven administrative costs of the programs, which we're seeing a lot more in COVID, because we're having to pay for a lot of different stuff that is, you know how, like, have you guys noticed how everybody now has that plastic barrier, or they give you a mask at the front door at Walmart when you walk in, or I guess they've done the hand sanitizer for a while. I don't remember masks until a year ago, which is kind of weird. Just the new stuff that they've had to add. And that's part of those administrative costs. Even last year, the BMV went down. Like, did any of you try to renew your license last year? It was terrible. It was like there's a line out the door, and they're already inefficient, but they're even worse. There could be benefit inefficiency. So that's when significant amounts of money goes to people who are not needy, or to the original target of the program. Someone wanted the link here. All right. So again, and I know we're kind of reviewing Chapter 7, but the benefits can come in the form of money, cash income, vouchers to purchase good. I think food stamps now, at least they were when I was in grad school, they gave us like a credit card with an American flag on it, and we'd swipe it. So they're not like the old little pieces of paper and stamps that you could, lose them as easily. Like if you lost your card, they could send you a new one. Services can be concrete or take the form of social utilities, public social utilities. Like we have some, there's a policy to like help pay the heat bill. I don't know if in the cities you guys were from, if the heat got real bad. Did anybody hear what happened in Texas most recently by chance? How much their heat bills went up to? It was insane. So they had like the power shut off. I think we watched a video about like the power, but now they're starting to get the heat bills about it. And I forgot, you got to go through the whole commercial to save it in your history. If you don't get to that and then pause it. Oh dear, there's that many episodes. That's crazy. All right, so like Texas heat bills. Anybody guess how much some of their heat bills were down there this month? Here's one. You imagine if you got a heat bill that was, I think the average is this one right here. And they're creating policy as we speak to save people from that. Because right now, there is no way someone's going to pay a heat bill like this. Like, what are you used to on your heat bill? Any of you guys pay rent and have a heat or electric bill come in the mail? What they usually cost? it could affect us up here, but this is what's going on. So normally most of them are paying $300 to $500 a month on their heat. Texas doesn't have too much of a winter, so they don't have to worry about it.
It's pretty bad that, as Texans, we just can't prepare for cold. In every other part of the country, this would have not been a huge issue.
They usually
lost
don't
power
have snow.
yesterday morning, and the houses start getting real cold, like around 2 o'clock, and then we got all the blankets out. We tried to all sleep together to keep us warm, come to the cars to keep our phones charged, and then today when we got up, there was no water.
So this is all across Texas.
Yesterday morning, about 7:55, power went out. Rode it out for most of the day. Been coming out because we have 2 kids, keeping them warm, and slept here last night hoping the power would come on this morning. But we have no real update of when it's going to come on, and our phones barely work. So
It is simply unacceptable at this point for people to be without power at the coldest time in our history in the last 30 years. That's just unacceptable. So we have to have more generation, and then ERCOT has to provide the flexibility. And so I'm calling on the state leaders to assist, because ERCOT is a state entity.
There continue to be 1.2 million customers without power due to the forced state ERCOT outages. That's roughly the same as yesterday, and that number has shifted a little bit. Centerpoint tells us they're open for business. They just need the product being that electricity.
Only thing is, today when the mayor was talking about this might last till Monday, I looked at my water, and I have less than a case of water, so I said, yeah, let's go start looking for water.
So this is when they do handouts, what they could look like. They might be drive-through nowadays because of COVID. Now, if disaster hit you guys, like what would you, how did you handle COVID last year? Like when it started going down? Any short supplies that came your way? Food, water, grocery stores. Remember how weird it was in the grocery store? Right, yeah, the toilet paper was one for sure. We didn't get hit with this power outage, which is weird. It's that for Texas and for heating, it's just they're kind of cleaning up from that. And like we saw, those bills, the fact that they had those, some people have $5,000 electric bills, a few have $8,000 electric bills. There was one dude with a $15,000 electric bill. So there's a lot of issues coming up with that. But government is trying to push us all to do prepping now at this point, to have like the basics, like have a few weeks supply of food on hand if some stuff goes down, have enough water. Like if the water was shut off, you still can flush your toilet with a 5-gallon bucket. You just fill it up, dump it. Food, water, like blankets and situations like that. And yes, we do have policies to cover if that does happen, but when it's 1.5 million people, I don't know if they have 1.5 million blankets to go around. Like if the power was shut off, even today, it's like below freezing. It's going down to like 30 tonight, and it's something that it's definitely a huge long way of cleanup for everybody here. Well, one Army veteran had a $16,000 bill. So I don't know if any of you guys during Corona got like stuff that would help you in situations with like The few week supply of food, some drinking water in case it went down. Some people buy those big blue barrels of food or of water. You can just like fill it with your hose and save, a lot of water to do stuff with. Blankets and or sleeping bags in case it got cold or the electric went out. In the summer, I don't know what you do. I guess some people go into the basement or like lower kind of underground, things of that nature. But these are some of the policies that we're facing in Corona times, that the government is having to distribute stuff, distribute things equitably. And those are the services. So you could get it in the form of cash, which we all might get that this year. Did you say you had to work last year to get the $1,400 this year?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't? So you just got to file your own taxes, even if it's the first time you file? Well, there you go. Anybody looking for $1,000? Go ahead. Do you have a question? So how do you do it? Do you go on to that website that does it for you? Or do you pay somebody to do it for you?
So you just file the taxes like normal, and then I guess they'll see like your check to see if you got it or not, and if you qualify. Basically, if you didn't get it, you'll get it.
Really? So do you go on to turbotax.com to do that?
Anybody who file taxes, so even if you just like go to a private person who does it, they can still send it in to the IRS so you can get it.
But they make you pay, right?
What?
Like a agency that files your taxes for you. Okay. So if you are savvy, you can go to this one and just type in all your stuff. Even if you don't have a job, you're just like, I made this, I made that, and you file your federal returns. Did all of you guys already know that? Is this like just news to me? If you want $1,000, you file your taxes and they mail you a check. Seems exciting. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one who gets excited about $1,000 anymore. Wow. Yeah, I've never done TurboTax. My wife is taking care of it with stuff. But yeah, I guess you could do it from your phone on myturbotax.com and stuff like that. $1,000. How fast does it come back?
And so it'll come back with your normal taxes.
Okay.
So about 3 weeks.
You just need a bank account that they drop it into. I know when they mail a check, it always happens to get lost somewhere.
It takes about 3 weeks.
Okay. So that's the money. Some of the services would be in the form of sometimes electricity. You can buy a generator. Have any of you guys heard of a generator? Like that you pour the gas into and then it runs and it creates electricity for like your phone, or you buy them at Walmart for $100. You know, they're not special, but when shit goes down, the grid goes down for 3 weeks and nobody, have any of you guys lived without electric for a few days before? Like really? We're at Columbus. What date was it? Like in the past few years, or was this like 10 years ago? So in 2009, we had it go out for a week in Ohio, and it sucked. It was September 15th. It might have been 2008, September 15th, 2008. I remember because I was like a social worker. We still had to do our job, but I come home, no freaking power. So I got like my camping stove and I would cook meals outside. Lucky it was still a little bit warm in September. And I just cook on the grill or my stove outside. You try to eat all the stuff out of like the freezer first, because when your power goes out, you got to eat it within time. What did you guys do when the power went out? But you had it for at least a few days, you think? Isn't it weird? We're just so used to having the damn lights come on and like heat and electric that like if natural disaster struck, it's shocking to us. So services usually come in that form when there's a natural disaster, public utilities, and then the private sector, as we mentioned before, private nonprofit provides direct service, advocacy, fundraising. I'd say the advocacy piece is like knowing that you get that $1,000 check back if you file on your taxes. Because at your age, I feel like my parents would claim me as a dependent till I was like 19 or 20. And then when I started working, I would do it differently. But I don't know if they had TurboTax.com in 1999, but if you can find a way to just like file your own taxes and get $1,000. Didn't they also, are all of you guys freshmen in here or any sophomores? So didn't they send money through Central last year somehow, like $1,000 if you applied for it?
You didn't have to apply, you just had to be an American or a US resident.
So folks that come, did you?
Yeah, I thought there was, did you not apply?
And you still got it?
Yeah, there was a deadline that they kept like throwing in your face.
They probably, maybe what ended up is they had enough money to go around. They're like, all right, fine, we're giving it to everybody. Nice.
My friend told me about it.
But you guys are freshmen. You two, and you're a freshman? Okay. I don't know if they'll have that this year, but again, you know, like it sucked. There was no work. That's the only way to get money. I think, I remember them saying you had to apply, but they might have ended up having enough money. Like maybe they thought it would run out, but the government sent enough money that they're like, here you go.
I just remember them saying something about, because I was talking to my friend about it, and they said you had to be a U.S. citizen. Like, so
You do. You do. You can't be, like, there's a few folks from the Bahamas and then other countries that go here, and I don't think they, so that's another example of a benefit, like the policy, maybe their country. Uh-oh. See ya. So seeing if they reached, they might have had something come from the Bahamas, like they applied to something within the Bahamas to get theirs. The reach definitely was a little bit better than it used to be. I'm trying to remember the other shortages. There is toilet paper and then paper towels, I guess, hand sanitizer, and then maybe masks. Like finding these N95 masks. That was kind of the big shortages. So any questions? I'm going to leave some of chapter 8 for not next week, but later in the week, Thursday. Because understanding how these benefits get out, how these, how you apply for them. Sometimes advocacy comes in the way of teaching others how to apply for them. And sometimes you just don't even know how to apply for it. And it's like, dude, I didn't even know that I could get $1,000 if I filed my taxes. That's good to know, you know, like things of that nature. I don't have any other details at this point, but I'm going to, like I said, if you guys have to add some stuff into the paper, I'm okay with you doing that. Please do it because it will be helpful to all of us. And I will see you all coming up here fast. Thursday. Go ahead.
My last day of classes because on our schedule it says May 1st. But my teacher keeps saying we have 10 weeks of school left.
She could be. What class is that in?
That's calculus.
She could be used to, we have a 16-week semester and then a spring break. So normally a semester is 17 weeks long, which is, I guess, yeah, it's 4 months of class. And I feel like we started on the 19th. So we had 19th, 26th, or the first 2 weeks, and 1st, 8th, 15th. I messed it up. 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd. So that's 6. And then the 1st again. So we're in the 7th week. She could be coming up with that because you normally have a 17-week semester.
I was thinking We only have 7 weeks left. And she keeps saying we have 10.
The other tricky part is March has 31 days, so it's almost like 5 weeks of class in March, which is weird. So we'll have 5 here, and then you have 4 in April, and then maybe 1 in May.
Yeah, all I said is May 1st, but I don't include that because I'll be at home by then.
Right. Where's home again? I'm always forgetting.
Dayton.
Okay. Yeah. I try to have it so that you'll have your exam. I usually have it actually as another writable paper. I don't have you guys do a test because most of you aren't social workers in here, so we get enough tests in the other areas. So it'll usually just be a reflection paper. And it'll probably be May 1st. What day is May 1st? I don't even know what day it is. Because I know.
Thursday on Central.
Right. Do these things have calendars on them? Is that it? Oh, there you go. So if we were to be, yeah, there's 5 weeks here, as you can see. Oh, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dang, that's crazy. And then you got 4 in April. There's your 4 in April.
And this would be the 10th week. Okay.
And then exam week you might have exams the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
You said what?
It's possible there's exams 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. I usually make it a reflection. You can turn it online, so you can bail out and go home if you want to. But
Most of my classes are online. I just have one in-person class.
okay,
2.
hybrids, yeah, yeah. Some people are. That is crazy, though.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Was he there though? Now you got me curious. Was he dressed up and clean cut and?
Well, they were talking about a fire drill that was happening.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy crap! See, they're preparing us for those disasters. I'm telling you, it's supposed to be a crazy tornado season. So if anything,
Don't say that.
you just got to run to the basement. But oh yeah, you're from Dayton. They just got.
Yeah, we just had a tornado. 2019.
Did they lose power when that happened, or did they get it right back up and running?
They were.
That area that got hit is bad.
Technically, it wasn't Dayton that got hit.
Right.
Dayton isn't really quick with it, but I mean, it was like Trotwood and Jefferson.
But you see it from the highway, like the shit took the top of buildings off. It was just like bam. And those are kind of
It was like one tornado and then it split off into like 7.
right. We got hit bad in Cincinnati in 1999.
Oh. Yeah.
So yeah, it sucks. But if you can prepare, even you guys, do you all live in the dorms or are you at apartments? You could even have a few days supply of food. Like if some shit went down, you still got food, you still got water. I don't know. That's something that maybe they trained us in even way back in wilderness, Boy Scout, whatever type of training, to just always be prepared. Have freaking what food lasts the longest? I guess ramen noodles or like granola or snacks, just something. You know what I mean? I always hate to be without food. So kind of that preparedness stuff. And it'll help. What's his name there?
What?
What's his name there? What does he look like? What's his name look like?